Birdie, 2 straight games where you're in double digits off the bench. Are you starting to feel really comfortable in terms of that scoring in that role?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely can tell my confidence is up. My teammates keep giving me open positions to make plays. I'm just kind of taking advantage of what the defense gives me. So whether that be dump the ball into the high post or anything like that, I'm just kind of doing whatever it takes to win.
And Lindsay, you had the early and sort of ongoing foul trouble. Did that kind of change the way you were playing defensively, or were you able to just sort of battle through it?
I was able to battle through it. I mean, I don't think it really changed that much, just being smart on some things where I thought I could make a play, but just being smart.
And then, especially for you, Lindsay, the rebounding, you guys, they had a lot of offensive boards in that first quarter, and then throughout the rest of the game really as well. It seemed like you were sort of crashing down in the interior more in that second half. Was that sort of a focus for you guys to limit those offensive rebounds down the stretch, and how do you think you did it?
That first time out, we got ripped a little bit for not rebounding, and then halftime we talked about it. Obviously, that's not how we want to rebound the basketball. And credit to Boston College, they rebounded well and they worked. But we just learned from it, come back to the next game, and focus on it.
Lindsay, how early on, especially with the struggles on the rebounding, did you recognize this as a game where the team would really have to depend on your shot?
I think I was just aggressive, just as any other game. Just being aggressive.
The two of you obviously had good offensive games, but especially early on, it was tough to get easy open shots against this team. What was Boston College's defense doing that made it difficult?
Yeah, I don't know if it was anything they were doing specifically. I mean, obviously their ball pressure was kind of good, but it was more of us not executing our plays. And, we just played DePaul, and it's not an excuse or anything, but, I mean, you're running for 40 minutes straight. So, our legs are a little tired, but we got to get some treatment and get back to it.
You talked about earlier in the season, emphasizing being better from behind the arc. Is that something you were trying to do, be aggressive tonight from the three-point line?
They left me open, so I shot it. Went in. Yeah.
You talk about a couple games in a couple of days in terms of DePaul and then BC. Obviously, a tough team to come off a game against, especially the way they run you guys. Did that make it tougher to sort of get up for this one in terms of sort of that more lack of energy and just having a great game on Sunday?
Yeah, obviously kind of DePaul, you're so focused on the shooters and running back in transition. So just like going from a totally different team, I guess, they have different players. They still like to run in transition, but they're just a totally different skill set. So, I mean, you just got to prepare. You got to read your scout, and you got to do all those little things. We executed down the stretch, and we got a dub, and that's all that matters.
Lindsay, you talk about if they're leaving you open, you're going to shoot it. As you well know, a lot of your shots also come when you're not as open, especially down the stretch of this game, and you were still hitting those. Is there sort of that light that turns on in the fourth quarter where you're thinking, I'm going to go shoot this ball? Do you think that's gotten more as you've sort of grown in your role here at Northwestern, where you want the ball down the stretch of these games?
I mean, I always want the ball down the stretch. I think, it's just getting close. It was getting close, and I want the ball in those moments, and I just made shots that I work on. So, yeah.
So didn't you write an article in the Washington Post? She was the best kindergartner in that year. Shot every time. Right? I remember reading that. Hadn't passed since.
Just Lindsay, you mentioned little things you guys had to do to win the game. Can you describe what you were talking about?
Just grinding it out on defense. We made stops when we needed to, and we made big shots too. I think just really locking in and doing what we needed to do to finish out the game, and that was just grinding it out on defense and running our offense, being poised on both ends.
And then after losing a close one on Sunday, what was it today that you knew you had to do to make those winning plays?
All you can do from that is learn from it. You have to learn to close out the game, dial in, and just do what you got to do. We talked a lot about it after DePaul, and just being focused coming into the game, moving on, learn from it.
How much confidence did you have in the defense, knowing that y'all needed one stop, about 30 seconds left, up 3? Can you take me through that possession and just what was going through y'all's heads on defense?
I mean, I wasn't in, but if I...
That's what
I was like,
Yeah, I'm sorry. We were in a timeout. We said we were gonna switch everything, and we just dialed in, talked, and I had all confidence that we were gonna grind it out because that's what we do.
Any other questions?
I know you both kind of talked about how your confidence has been up, especially you, Bert, coming off last game and today. How, looking forward, are you going to keep that confidence up, working in practice, games, and whatnot?
Yeah, I think confidence for me comes from preparation. You know, I have like a little routine, as I mentioned, I don't know, before or last time. So I guess just being prepared, you know, reading the scout, knowing their tendencies and what they're good at, and trying to capitalize on my strengths, whether that be shooting the three when I'm open, getting people open, or driving to the basket. So I guess just like keeping myself prepared and healthy, I guess.